Welcome back to another conference tournament prediction video, and today we are doing the CAA, also known as the Coastal Conference, formerly known as the Colonial Conference. I believe they renamed it last year, if I'm not mistaken, but yes, new name, but same teams. We got 14 teams, huge bracket here. If you're new around here, real quick though, make sure you subscribe. We're doing all 31 conference tournaments. I think we have like over 10 out. Make sure you check all of those out. Those are all great videos, in depth. Talk a little bit about all these mid-major teams you need to know before the tournament starts. And we are 10 days away from Selection Sunday, so it's a great time to be a part and join the channel. But starting off with the bracket, the 12 versus 13 seed Delaware versus Stony Brook. Both these teams aren't great. What you really need to know is Stony Brook. They are actually the lowest team in KenPom. They're below North Carolina A&T, but only by one spot. Those are pretty much, in my opinion, the two pretty clear bottom feeders in this conference. I think Delaware is just clearly better. They won the season series. They have lost 11 of their last 12, but I think against Stony Brook they should be fine, and they're actually a very fast-paced team. Hofstra versus North Carolina A&T. Again, just two not great teams. You look at Hofstra; they're not horrible whatsoever. They're maybe a little bit higher than you think. They actually defend very well. They have a top 100 defense, so I'm going to take them over North Carolina A&T. I think they at least have something going for them. Starting back up to the top of the 8-9 game, Drexel versus Elon, and at first glance, this wouldn't look very special. But Drexel and Elon, I believe in KenPom, are like both in the top 5 in this conference. I mean, it's pretty crazy how high both these teams are. Yeah, Drexel, Elon's actually ahead of Drexel by not a crazy amount, but it is by by about 20 spots. Drexel though, top 120 defense. Drexel's defense is very strong. Elon in Torvik, Drexel is actually much higher than Elon, so that's definitely interesting. Usually you see kind of a correlation, but both these teams are definitely very evenly matched. I think Drexel maybe has the better overall team, so I'm gonna take them. I think with that defense being as good as it is, I think they should be able to get past Elon. I'm not sure what the series was in the regular season, but this 8-9 game, you don't see this. These are two of the best teams in this conference, so it's definitely surprising to see this in the 8-9 game. I believe they split, or no, Elon won the only game in the regular season, but I think Drexel, on a 4-game win streak, they're one of the hottest teams in this conference. I think they get a win. Campbell versus Delaware. I really don't like Campbell. I'm going to be honest, I don't see much here with them. They're the 7th highest team in KenPom, and I believe in Torvik they're even lower, I want to say. I mean, Campbell is, yeah, they're just not great. They force turnovers, though, and I think against Delaware they should be able to do that. In a fast-paced game, those tend to get some turnovers, so I think they should be able to get past Delaware, but I don't really love what I'm seeing from Campbell. I don't know. They've lost 4 in a row as well. But I think against Delaware they should be fine. Northeastern versus Hampton. I originally actually went with Hampton in this game, but upon further review, I actually switched back to Northeastern. Northeastern is higher than Hampton in pretty much everything. It's not a crazy amount, but I think I mean, these two teams are, pretty close. But I think Northeastern is just a little bit better. They're just kind of better in everything than Hampton. Again, it's not by very much, but I think they are better. And then Monmouth versus Hofstra. Interesting thing about this one is Monmouth is actually, according to the numbers, one of the worst teams in this conference. I'm not really sure how they ended up getting a 3 seed here. In Torvik, they're a bottom 3 team. I believe in KenPom it's the same thing. Hofstra is higher than them in pretty much everything. So for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and take Hofstra. I mean, I don't really know what's going on with Monmouth, but they're not a good team. They somehow got the 60, but I think Hofstra with that top 100 defense can make a little bit of a run, so I'll take them to the quarters. But back up to the top number 1 seed Towson versus 8 seed Drexel, and I really thought about going Drexel here. I was very close. Like I said, Drexel on a 4-game win streak, but Towson, you could argue, has been even hotter. They've won 14 of their last 16 games, I believe. They have been dominating this conference, and yes, Drexel's defense is absolutely phenomenal. But they turn the ball over a lot, and Towson is one of the best teams when it comes to getting points off of turnovers. So I do think that they will go ahead and win this one and move on to the semifinals. They're also one of the slowest teams, Drexel, with being a defensive team. Towson likes it slow, so I think they'll be fine with the Drexel defense. So I think Towson moves on. William and Mary versus Campbell. I don't really like Campbell. I've kind of made that clear. They've lost 4 in a row. They don't really look good on many metrics, but neither does William and Mary. Both these teams are actually in Torvik, behind Elon, behind Drexel, behind Northeastern, behind even Hampton. It's pretty weird. But I think William and Mary offensively just has enough. They're actually one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country, so I'm going to take them for that reason. UNC Wilmington versus Northeastern, probably the easiest of the quarterfinals, at least in my opinion. I like UNC Wilmington a lot. I think they are definitely one of the best teams in this conference. They're first in pretty much every metric. I think UNC Wilmington cruises to the semifinals over Northeastern. Charleston and Hofstra, I also really like Charleston. I think their offense is very solid, and they got a lot of wins in the non-conference that look really good. And I know that was a long time ago, but I mean, they're one of the fastest teams in all of Division One. They shoot and defend the three very well, and I think I just think this team is very solid. They're 23-8. I think they get past Hofstra. I know Hofstra's defense very strong, but I think Charleston's offense is better, and I think they're the more complete, well-rounded team. So a little chalky, and I was really close. I was really close to taking Drexel over Towson. I have Hofstra, so maybe not. It's not all chalk, but I mean it kind of is. But Towson versus William and Mary. Again, I wanted to take William and Mary, but the matchup just favors Towson, man. That William and Mary, very good 3-point shooting team, like I said. But overall, I mean, KenPom, they're the 9th highest team, and even in Torvik, where they're not all that high in Torvik. I think they're the 8th in Torvik, but 3s can only get you so far. They're a very fast-paced team, but Towson is one of the slowest teams in all of Division One. So differing play styles here for sure. Towson also forces a whole lot of turnovers, and I think in a fast-paced game, if it does go into a fast-paced game for William and Mary, that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to shoot lights out. I think Towson can force a lot of turnovers and keep things in their favor. So I like them to the championship game. The 2 versus 3 seed, I would argue these two teams are probably the most complete and probably the 2 best teams in this conference. These are the 2 teams highest in Torvik, highest in KenPom. But UNC Wilmington tops them in both. I believe, I'm not sure who won the season series, but what I will say is Charleston's going to want to play fast, but UNC Wilmington's offense actually ranks a whole lot higher than Charleston, so I like UNC Wilmington. They, along with Towson, have won like 13 of their last 14 or 12 of their last 14, something like that. And they did sweep Charleston, and in the most recent game, they won by 20 points. So I like UNC Wilmington to the championship game, and against Towson, like I said, I think Charleston and UNC Wilmington are probably the 2 best teams in this conference. So with all that being said, I'm going to take UNC Wilmington to punch their ticket to the tournament. I just think they're better than Towson. I think Towson may have some trouble with Drexel. I think they may have some trouble with William and Mary. I think these 2 teams are the hottest teams in this conference, but again, I could see them losing to Drexel. Drexel's on a 4-game win streak. William and Mary always has a chance because of how good they shoot the 3. And I just don't love that. I don't love that I can see Towson losing in the quarters, in the semis, so I don't want to pick them to win this conference. So I like UNC Wilmington, and I think that's fair. These two teams, the last time they played was like in early January. Towson did win, but it was a very close game. I think second time around, UNC Wilmington gets them and heads to the tournament. But that is going to do it for the Coastal Conference Tournament predictions. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you go down there, leave a like, subscribe if you are new. Like I said, all 31 conference tournament prediction videos will be coming out on this channel within the next 2 weeks. So again, if you're new around here, subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 by the end of the year. And not only, I can't stress this enough, not only do we have college basketball content, we do college football, NFL, NBA, and MLB as well. So if any of that interests you, it would be greatly appreciated. But that is going to do it. Thank you so much for the support, and thank you so much for watching this one.